Welcome back to another Explainer. Today, we're looking at a pretty fascinating dual reality. Whenever a natural disaster strikes, our screens are immediately filled with the sheer human tragedy of it all, the absolute devastation. But the very moment the storm passes or the fires are finally put out, this massive, highly complex economic machine springs into action. Today, we are mapping out exactly how that whole operation works. Look, when disaster strikes, the immediate aftermath is obviously what captures the world's attention. Most people see destruction, and rightly so. We're looking at the heartbreaking reality of collapsed homes, flooded streets, burning forests, and, lives that are just changed forever. It's a human tragedy first and foremost. But right behind every major disaster, another story starts to unfold. Okay, let's dive into this, because right behind all that devastation is the hidden story of a multi-billion-dollar recovery industry. We are literally talking about billions of dollars flowing incredibly fast into rebuilding efforts. It's this massive mobilization of insurance companies, construction firms, emergency suppliers, and power crews, all at the exact same time. Natural disasters actually trigger one of the largest recovery industries on the planet, and that's the machinery we're breaking down for you today. Section 1. The true cost of disasters, beyond the human impact. Every single year, without fail, communities globally are slammed by a relentless cycle of storms, floods, wildfires, droughts, and earthquakes. And the economic damage? It's enormous. We're talking about homes, roads, power lines, hospitals, and businesses that all require massive repair or just total replacement. But here's the thing. The financial costs are measured in so much more than just physical bricks and mortar. We also have to factor in all that lost economic activity and the long-term disruption to people's lives. Getting a local economy back on its feet isn't an overnight process. It can take months or even years to fully bounce back. Section 2. The immediate response. Who responds first? The very second conditions on the ground are safe, the recovery sequence officially kicks off. And this brilliantly illustrates the strict, coordinated operational order that happens next. It's incredibly fast. Step 1. Emergency responders move in to protect lives. Step 2. Utility crews rush in to get the electricity back on. Step 3, engineers have to carefully inspect things like bridges and buildings to make sure they're actually safe to use. And then Step 4, construction crews arrive to clear out all that massive debris. It's a highly choreographed dance. And while all those steps are happening on the ground, there's an entirely different logistical arm hard at work delivering generators, fuel, food, and clean water. Countless different organizations have to work together seamlessly to supply these resources. So yes, their work is absolutely critical for survival. But make no mistake, this also represents a huge economic sector that is built purely around rapid disaster response. Section 3. The insurance machinery. Funding the recovery. Now, what's really interesting here is answering the macro-level question, how on earth is all of this actually paid for? Well, we have to look at the incredible speed and scale of insurance companies. After a major disaster, insurers aren't just processing a handful of forms. They might be processing thousands of claims in just a matter of days. That massive influx of capital is the vital engine that actually gets communities running again. But to pull that off, the insurance industry depends on a really delicate balancing act. On one hand, they've got to balance massive financial risk across all their policyholders. But on the other hand, they have to do that while preparing for completely unpredictable global events. They literally have to sit on enough capital for an event when they don't even know the date, the location, or how severe it's going to be. It's a crazy puzzle to solve. I want to pause on a really powerful quote from our sources. Insurance cannot erase the emotional impact of disasters, but it often provides an important financial pathway toward recovery. And that's absolutely crucial to remember. Money does not solve the deep emotional heartbreak of losing a home. But without that financial pathway, physical recovery is pretty much impossible. Section 4. Rebuilding entire communities. The focus on reconstruction. Once those funds are finally secured and the debris is cleared out, the sheer scale of the recovery industry becomes impossible to ignore. Entire local economies completely pivot toward reconstruction, and that creates a massive surge in demand across so many different industries. Think about it. You need construction materials, heavy equipment, architects to design, electricians to wire, engineers to plan, transportation to move it all around, and manufacturing to build it. Recovery touches almost every single sector of the economy. So the crucial point is the choice communities face right at this very moment. Do they just reconstruct exactly as before, putting things back the way they were? Or do they opt to redesign the whole shebang, rebuilding their neighborhoods with stronger standards and better infrastructure so they can actually withstand the next big event?
Section 5. Tech and Future Resilience. Changing the Response.
Let's move to and see how this builds into the future, because we aren't just relying on hammers and nails anymore. Modern technology and government investments are completely revolutionizing how disasters are managed. We're building a modern technological safety net. First up, satellites monitor storms in real time. Then, AI steps in to help forecast the weather and assess the damage. After the event, drones fly in to inspect areas that are just too dangerous for humans. And finally, digital mapping helps emergency teams prioritize their rescues. It's a real game changer for response times. And running parallel to all that tech, governments and communities are investing heavily in physical resilience too. That means stronger building codes, massive flood defenses, proactive wildfire management, and much better emergency planning. The ultimate goal here? Prepare in advance. If we can do that, we significantly reduce both human suffering and long-term economic losses way before the disaster ever even strikes. Section 6. Conclusion. The human element. All right, after looking at all the economics, the complex supply chains, and the flashy technology, we have to bring this back down to earth. Disasters are, first and foremost, human tragedies. But in the wake of all that loss, recovery reveals just extraordinarily human cooperation. Engineers rebuild, utility crews hook the power back up, businesses supply what's needed, and most importantly, neighbors help neighbors. This billion-dollar industry exists out of pure necessity, because rebuilding is essential, not because disasters are desirable. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought. As extreme weather continues to challenge us, is our ability to recover becoming just as important as our ability to prepare? The real story isn't just about what gets destroyed. It's about how humanity rebuilds. I would absolutely love to hear your take on this. Drop your thoughts in the YouTube comments down below. And hey, if this explainer helped you wrap your head around the massive scale of disaster recovery, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.